Hi guys, welcome back to another Daily Tarot card. These are your Daily Tarot cards for Monday, May 22nd, 2023. Today we're pulling from the Tarot of Dreams guidebook. I love this Nine of Cups card. Cornucopia, love. Right there. It kind of reminds me of Shofar. The nine cups overflowing with, wine. This is where I feel celebration. I literally felt like someone was placing a cap on top of my head. So, graduation cap. This is male energy. So this could be someone around you that's graduating. Like, congratulations to him or it is. Like, it is an achievement either way. They're saying D's get degrees. It's a guy that she went to school with. I couldn't believe that. It's true though. He graduated. And they ended up being really good friends because of that. I was definitely shocked how that friendship flourished. Ten of Cups. I love this, and I was like, be perfectly imperfect. Love every imperfect moment. It was like, it's like a family coming together. It's like, even in this moment, we don't have everything we want, like material-wise. It's like, I don't know how many times I've gotten up, and it's like the sun is just shining a certain way. Like, with those beautiful light pinks and purples and violets. When you get up that early in the morning, it's just like when you're awakened that early, it's like you understand what I'm talking about. And I tried taking pictures of it with my camera, and it's like it does not capture those colors. It's just so stunning. But I feel like it's just like, even though I don't own my own house, you know what I mean. I don't have like you know what I mean. I'm not working my dream job, you know what I mean. But it's just like in that moment, it's still beautiful and peaceful. We have a roof over our head, clothes on our back, food on our table. It's like, you know what I mean? At any moment, anything and anyone, God forbid, could be taken from our life. And it's like, we may have to start over again. You know what I mean? So it's just like, in that way, it's just like, just be grateful in the moment. You know what I mean? Whatever your moment looks like right now. This is where like social media can be, devastating and very discouraging, especially right now because it's a new moon. You know what I mean? So it's like maybe you're in your shadow side and it's just like, oh, this one has this and this and this and this. But everyone's circumstances are different. Everyone's journey is different. Do not mark your success on anyone else's success. That is their success for a reason. You are where you are for a reason. You know what I mean? And it's like, at the end of the day, we cannot take all these things with us. You know what I mean? And success is not only based upon material things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how many times I've sat there and said, like, I felt like a millionaire. Like, in this moment, it's just like, everything is in such a good place. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, just waiting for the other part of life to, start moving. And it's just like, enjoy the moment. And I feel like that's what the universe has been saying. It's like, enjoy this moment. I love the fact of the compass here, cherubim energy with the world. And I feel like it's like, where is our new destination? Where is the world taking us? You know what I mean? Where is the universe taking us? We have the sundial here with the sun. The sundial is a very deep card. The sun, period. But it's like talking about the sundial and all this stuff, especially with the planets. You know what I mean? Going beyond the veil. But I feel like it's just like, kind of watch how much you're thinking ahead. It's like, if you're the type of person that could think ahead so many years and it doesn't bug you, dream away. Honestly, the world is your oyster. But if you feel like it's making you anxious, like, then dial it back. And it's just like, live moment to moment. They were showing the Huxtables when I was trying to film on IG. It's just, I had the worst coughing fit because of this flipping cold my son gave me. Oh my gosh. I love him to death, but this cold, oh my word. The freaking lack of sleep and the crazy ass dreams and the messages, it's like like let me curl up in a ball. They're showing the Seven of Coins, and again talking about nostalgia, where this young lady has, and I love this because it looks just like Sunny. We just trimmed his coat down. But it's just like, in this moment, she's like, her puppy doesn't need her anymore. So she feels sad. And a lot of us feel that way about our kids. Like, our kids don't need us anymore. But it's like, you know what? Our children will always need us. Like, I've always said that. Like, I would sit there and I was in labor and my mom walked in the room and it's just like everything calmed down. Thank God she was in the room when both kids were born. You know what I mean? But it's just like, I don't know what it is about her. It's just because she's just my mom. But it's just like when she's around, it calms my energy down. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel at peace. Like, I sleep better when she's around and all this stuff. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just like, who you feel calm with. You know what I mean? And I feel like you have to be understanding of that. Like, every child is different. Some children need to be more independent. More kids need to be, shown things and coddled in a way, in such a way. Or given them, like, more attention in the fact of it's like, teaching them things. You know? I shared that a few weeks ago. My youngest has always been drawn to cooking. He wants to be a chef. You know what I mean? Like, we got him his own little chef hat and apron and everything with his name on it. But my oldest has never been that kind of way. He's always been drawn to, like, video games and film and all that good stuff. So he came in and he saw us cooking and he's just like, "Can I help?" And I'm like, "For sure." I'm like, "Okay, take this spoon and stir." And so he was stirring. And I said, "Then take that basil." And I said, "Start shaking the basil on." I usually take the whole lid off and shake, like, because I know how, like, by eye, because I've made that dish so many times, I know how much, you know what I mean? Like, you can never put enough basil with this dish. But it's just like, you would probably pour the whole thing in. So I left the shaker on. I'm like, keep shaking, keep shaking. He's like, "Oh my gosh, how much am I putting in?" I'm like, "Keep going. I'll tell you when to stop." He's like, "Okay." But it's like involving him in it. It's like, maybe you're not familiar with cooking, but, this is how you turn on the oven. This is, so the foods that he eats, it's like, this is how you turn on the oven. This is how you turn it off. These are the gloves you use. Like, you know what I mean? It's like teaching your kids to be independent in that way, where it's to the point where they can help out a little bit more around the house. One less thing for you to have to worry about. But it's also building their confidence up that, maybe you haven't done it a lot, or maybe it's something new that they discover they like. Like, I do that with him all the time. I was actually talking to a lady about that the other night. Her child's that way. And I said, "You know what? A lot of people are going to say anything." I said, "Follow your intuition." I said, that I went to my doctors. They're like, "Take him off all this stuff." And I said, my gut feeling was like, let him eat. He's going to lose a ton of weight and he's not going to eat anything. He's just a picky eater. And they're like, "Under no circumstances are you to, let him, eat any of this stuff." I'm like, and then we went back and they're like, "Oh my God, he's so skinny." I'm like, "You're the one that told me to do all this." You know what I mean? Ever since then, I'm like, I follow my motherly intuition. He wants to try and nibble on something, let him try it. Sometimes he'll eat a lot of it, sometimes he'll take a little bit, and he's like, "No, it's not for me." Follow your intuition, especially when, you know what I mean? Especially as a parent. Everybody is different, everybody has different needs. Support your children. You will be their biggest advocate, If it's not hurting nobody, they're not hurting nobody, let them do it. My nephew's the same way. Healthy, freaking, I think he's 21 this year, if I'm not mistaken. It's just like, he's a picky eater. But as he sat there and was able to sample his mom's food and see what she cooked and everything like that, he was able to sit there and grow into other foods. It's just like, let your children grow. So, starting off with the Nine of Cups, enjoyment of simple pleasures, simplicity, self-indulgence. So this is where zodiac sign Jupiter comes in. Jupiter just entered Taurus. 9 wine-filled cups joined surround a joyful man. Bread, fruit spill forth from the cornucopia. This is very Shabbat energy. We do have a high holiday coming up on Thursday. Shabbat on Friday, and this is what we do. We sit there and raise the cup, we bless the cup, and, it's usually wine or grape juice. Like the 3 of Cups, the 9 focuses, I can't speak today, on enjoyment and good times. But then the 3 of the elements can force cheer, can suggest an overly demanded partier. The 9 is more honest and down to earth, and good advice, and enjoy the simple pleasures. Could be used as a walk through the neighborhood, or a trip to the movies. We've been getting into Netflix watching some movies. This card could also mean simplicity. Are you moving things to completely? Focus on the essentials. Again, the 3 this card can bring to extreme of self-indulgence. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, I was just talking to my, like, he's like, I call him my buddy, but Zane. And I was talking to, like, I couldn't sleep last night, and I said one thing, I was like, I don't like sleeping when I'm very full. Like, you know what I mean? But I just, this weekend has been very weird where it's just like I can't sleep at night, but I was getting up, I was taking NyQuil, and it was just knocking me out. I kept falling asleep, and I'm just like, just go lay down. You know, same thing, back and forth, and then finally I was able to nap for a stretch of period of time. You know, so it's just like when you're under the weather, it's hard to be in a routine. You know, so it's just like I feel like being kind with yourself, but that's where I feel like the overindulgence. You know what I mean? With especially with wine or like uh, read the room is what they're saying. You could be at a conference, and this is where it's like that when it's work. I would just stay away from it. So the Ten of Cups, peak emotional fulfillment, a family life, whether biological or simply group friends, happy families, occasions, and interactions, pleasant homes and activities, having too high expectations, wishful thinking. So when they were talking about too high expectations, they were showing the Huxtables. I was watching a lot because I used to watch them. You know, it's hard to now, but it's just like it's something I grew up with, and they're showing with Vanessa, and they were showing with Theo, and they're just like we have to live up to the legacy of our parents. Our mother is a lawyer, our father is a doctor. And they said, have we ever always said, as long as you try, we are proud of you. And I was just like, Vanessa is the precipice of that because she quit her pizza job and this, but then she ended up going to Africa, which was life changing for her. Like she was very different in that way, where it was like her calling wasn't in the typical world. Like her parents were meant to be of service in the world, where hers was to be the greater outdoors. The image on this card could be seen as someone ideal, as ideals one, an ideal one. Yeah, exactly. Like a happy couple, happy children. You know what I mean? Usually we have grandparents with this multiple generational family. We have fur babies here, but it's just like what I mean. Whatever brings you happiness. That's why I was talking about that earlier. It's just like even in that moment, you don't have everything your heart's desires. You know what I mean? It's like it gives you something to work towards. It gives you a purpose in life. You know what I mean? Like, my purpose in life is to be a better mother every single day. I'm not perfect in any shape or form. I'm always growing, evolving, learning. You know what I mean? Even they're teaching me things. You know what I mean? So it's just like being a good listener. You know what I mean? And I feel like like this image here of whatever that, even if you're a single person and you maybe you don't have any fur babies, if you are happy with thine self, and that's what brings you happiness, coming home, and you just, your place looks like the way you left it, you left some, provolone, they're saying, in the fridge, or pizza, or lasagna in the fridge, you don't have to worry about anyone eating it. Make this Ten of Cups your own. Whatever it looks like, as long as you're not harming anybody, nobody should, care what that looks like. That's why I'm saying, like, there's too much emphasis on cookie cutting ways of how this should look like. If you are happy, that's all that matters. That's what I'm saying. Even though life is not perfect all the time, there is still those sweet moments of life where you can sit there and say, thank, Yahweh, Yeshua, Divine Creator, Mother Earth, Gaia, Mother Earth, your higher self for another blessed day. You know what I mean? Looking at your children, if you have them, and thanking for that. Whatever it is, it's just like in this moment, I am content. The World card very much reminds me of the Cherubim. This is like where they talk about engagements and marriages, these commitments, but I feel like it's like the compass. Like the world is just opened up, and it's like you can go anywhere you want to. You know what I mean? It's like, where would you go? Like, where would you allow them to take you? Enlightenment, attachment, completion, but at the same time, a new beginning. Seeing things. So, like, this is where you get with graduation. It's like you've now learned everything that you can possibly learn, and now you're going to take it out to the world and share your wisdom with the world. You know? So are you going to go and work into the world? Are you going into apprenticeship for the world? Are you going to college? Just because you see everyone else's kids going to college, or they're doing skills or something, that is just who that person and that individual is. You know what I mean? A lot of parents nurture when they see those things, and that's exactly what you should do, is nurture their abilities. You love doing that. That's something you want to do when you grow up. Let's find out ways how we can sit there and put you in that. Like, one of my surrogate parents, they took the kids to the science center, and they were showing all these great careers and all these great projects and stuff like that. I'm like, that is so amazing, you know? We need more things like that around. Sometimes that has seemed silly and now is seen profound. Being ensured that to life's inequalities, dancing on your own limitations. I feel this one kind of goes back and forth, kind of like the sun card, you know? It's a deeper card with the world. And the way of the voyage never really ends, but rather spirals over, onward, and outward. Through the kind of sounds like onward and outward, kind of sounds like Star Trek. Through seductive stages of existing and awareness, just as the culture frame never ends, but rather continues round and round. The circle also suggests the fool's natural number zero, symbolizing nothing, and simultaneously the potential for everything. And that's what I feel like, you know what I mean? As one door closes, a window opens. But it's just like, I feel like because they're showing graduation here, or there's an ending in life, it's like, even like with myself, with the whole thing that happened with Shane, it's like, you know what I mean? I could not fathom, I could not even think for an instant, how am I supposed to move forward from this? Like, I never thought in a million years where I am now is where I would be when this all happened. Like, you can't even, like, it's the initial shock you have to get over, the widow fog and everything. If you're able not to make any choices until that fog is lifted, please don't, but that's not always the circumstance. A lot of people, when there is such a major ending in life, you know what I mean? It's just like, things are not put in place. I kid you not, we literally printed the papers to get that stuff done. And I was like, let's wait till next weekend because I'm tired and you're tired. I just got my business license. I was doing a ton of paperwork that day. I was like, we can do this next weekend. And next weekend never came. It like literally hours later. So, maybe if I, whatever, it don't matter. The way it happened is the way it happened. But it's like the world is always turning. You're always evolving. The life is always changing and unfolding, every single day. And that circle, that cycle of the world, the planet, you know what I mean? It's just like, I made a video about that. It's like, even though the circumstances were that my mom lived there, I obviously don't want to bother her more than I already do. And it's just like, something simple like getting, potted plant and some single flowers for Mother's Day. It's like, it brought me so much happiness. You know what I mean? It's like the small little pleasures in life. I love gardening. I'm a visual person. You know what I mean? It's just, we have these plants. I guess they're like wild roses. So they've been growing longer and longer. So I've left them this year. I haven't chopped them down. And I started putting them through the fence, like on the deck, on there. And I was like, I really like how that looks. And I'm like, I can't wait till it blooms because that's going to look really pretty. Like aesthetically. It's like, you know what I mean? Where what's something that used to be a pest to me, now I've let it grow and now I'm putting it through the fence. It looks really cool. Like feeding it through the fence, like weaving it. It looks really cool. Seven of coins. It's like, this is where I'm saying, watch that shadow energy of the new moon. It's like we're kind of reminiscing, but it's like reminiscing of the fact like, oh, they don't need me anymore, so it kind of makes you depressed. Maybe bring anxiety. It's like, don't let it do that to you. Like, especially when I'm only saying our kids because that's where I feel like that nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like, our kids are getting older and it's like, you know what I mean? The one fact is like, yes, they're getting older and, they're more independent and, you know what I mean? Like, I love how who they're turning into. Like, Mother's Day, I use it as an example. Like, I didn't even have to sit there and say, go down there and comfort your grandmother. She's going through hell. Like, they just sat there and they were sitting beside her, holding her hand and rubbing her back. And do you need anything? And, like, how can we help? You know what I mean? Like, not even being asked. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, I feel like it's bittersweet. You know what I mean? It's like I sit there and I miss when we would, watch them dance around the living room of the apartment, when things were simpler. And it's just like them dancing around and making up songs and, making forts and stuff like that. It's like you think about those things, but it's like you can't let it be depressed because it's just like, in that moment, that was a perfect moment. You know what I mean? So it's just like, now you get to live even more beautiful, perfect moments in a different way, in a more grown way. You know what I mean? So it's like now you can do different things. They're more independent. You could do more things that you couldn't do when they were little. So patience, evolution. Something you have nurtured can now grow on its own. And this is we're planting these seedlings, and especially when we have our kids, nurturing them. They're all different. You can't sit there and judge one this one does it, or your cousin does this, or this. They're all individuals. They're all unique. This card is about the virtue of patience, waiting until the right moment before taking action. The woman in the picture has undergone the dramatic and exciting creative process shown in the previous cards, now prepared the harvest for the fruit of her labor, but is waiting until the perfect moment of ripening. So, they go on where it's just like, this tree is done growing. Is she going to chop down the tree and grow something in its place? Is she just going to take the fruit and let it even further expand the next year? So it's quite the interesting card. She stares out to the of the card to us as asking what to do. The woman's compassion sits on her lap, eager to help harvest. But I feel like it's just like, what are we gonna do next? And I feel like this is where, like, the compass. I feel like spinning, like kind of like spin the bottle, but I feel like spinning. Like where it's gonna spin and it's gonna stop and it's gonna guide you where to go. You know what I mean? I feel like they're like every step we take, we're slowly taking these steps. More and more is evolving. You know what I mean? But it's like I feel like cherish that moment that of accomplishment. You know what I mean? Like someone I used to work with, coworker. I don't know. I just something about his energy. He was always like really down to earth, and just such an amazing person. I just loved his energy, and seeing him with his family now, and how he encourages and nurtures his children. You know what I mean? It's just I love it. I love seeing that because I can see that the way he was with his friends and stuff like that. I thought that was always cool, but. You know what I mean? It's like loving and nurturing. Like another one where she nurtures her kids. One plays basketball and she's just like showing like where this is where he started, this is where he's going, and this and that. And I'm like, because she saw something in him. You know what I mean? She saw how good he was, how skilled he was. You know what I mean? Let's nurture this and let's turn it into something. In his passion for however long or short it's going to be. You know what I mean? It's just like you can see it. It's just sometimes it does get tedious. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what they're saying. Like they're saying the card of patience with the 7 of coins. We're waiting for something to happen. We've nurtured. We put these seedlings out, and we're like, when is it going to happen? It's like you probably have seen some knockings of that already happening, and I feel like that's where the Sun card, even though it's going to get deep here with like I said, I don't write the definitions of these books, but it's like where we're getting impatient there, and they're like, be patient, have a seat. Relax, nurture in the sun. Things are unfolding. Let the universe step in and sit there. Like, what does the sun do? It nurtures your seedlings. Let me nurture you some more. Let me nurture this situation some more. One girl, I don't know what I feel like it's her energy. Like, you know what I mean? She's an introvert, and I don't know. She's just I don't know. I just feel like she's so like real. That's what I love about her. But she's just having a good old time. She doesn't care what anyone thinks. You know, I know she does to a point, but you know what I mean. She don't give no flying f. She lives life to the fullest. You know, but it's just like she's dancing and doing all these videos. But it's just like you see her now, and then she's been showing clips from like I think probably what is it 3 years now. So she's been on the platform for 3 years, and it's just like I feel like that's like little tidbits. It's like, you got to make a name for yourself. You got to put yourself out there. You got to be vulnerable. You got to keep with it. Sometimes it's tedious. Sometimes we put things out there that we're not the proudest of. You know what I mean? But it's just like, you know, she even said that too. She's like, I'm a perfectionist. I'm like, I am too. Like, oh, the TikTok app, it keeps doing I understand they're trying to make it more user friendly, and like now they're copywriting voices now and stuff like that. I understand that some people's skills and talents aren't exploited, for other people's financial gain, because it's like we put a lot of effort into it, and it's just like it was getting frustrating. I wasn't even gonna post. I was just like, I'm under the weather. I'm fighting this flipping cold. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh, so I just didn't put any music on. I didn't do captions. That really bothers me, because I'm like, I'm trying to be inclusive to everybody, but it's just like, oh my word. It's like, I don't know how many times I've refreshed my phone. I've uninstalled, reinstalled. I'm just like, can we stop with the updates? Like, I understand they're doing things, but someone for myself that's been like, had a rough 2 days of like trying to recover from this cold. It's just like, oh, that's the last thing I needed. But, nevertheless, it is what it is. So, awakeness, consciousness, reasons, and order. Confidence, optimism, intelligence. So, I love the fact of reason and order. I feel like even though, you put everything you could into this situation, you've nurtured it, you loved it. I feel like this is where the world is like something in your life is ending. So, maybe it's like, you're going to have to put something down to even grow further into this. You know what I mean? Like, that's where you're going to have to make a choice. We got a lot of twos last week, making that choice. I feel like, again, let trust in the universe that we are nurturing you to go even further. Just like they say, and I'm not trying to get biblical or anything, like they're like, the birds don't plant for the winter. You know what I mean? Like, God provides for them. Just like the trees, like, they're sitting there and it's like, they're starting to bud here now. I don't even know how. It's been so cold. But it's just like they're going to expand like 5-6 more inches this year. You know what I mean? Like, even trees, when we first moved here, like my son will look out the window and he's like, that tree was so much more shorter when we moved here. And I'm like, I know, right? But it's just like, that's what I feel like. It's like you are meant to be in this place for a reason. You know what I mean? So it's just like, have a little patience. Things will unfold. Yeah, sometimes it does feel like flipping tedious, like tonight. It's like I'm having coughing fits. I had to re-record IG because I couldn't stop coughing. Like, it's so frustrating. It's like you just want to sit there, get it done, so that way it's, you can post other stuff. And it's like I've been fumbling with this for hours. It's just like, ugh, it's so infuriating. But, what can you do? This new, more structural sound awareness gives the fool a deeper confidence and optimism, which constraints strictly with the paper thin arrogance he displays in the chariot. So, a determination and dedication will be the victor wearing the wreath. But I like the awareness, confidence, optimism. I feel like that's what they're saying. Like, have the confidence that you will reach that moment. This is what you're working for. You know what I mean? It's like, have the confidence that who is supposed to see this will. You know what I mean? Like in social media terms. I almost said the item. The image. About to yawn. Of the sun god juggling planets suggests, although on the level of the universe governed by the physical laws, on a deeper level the universe's motivating force is actually our own attitudes and actions. So take accountability. Own attitudes and actions. They're saying, displayed in the chariot. With determination and dedication, you will be the victor wearing the wreath. So are you determined? Are you dedicated? Are you putting the energy? Like, you can't sit there and not post for 7 days. Like, I understand we all have to go on vacation and take a break. 100%. I get it. Even though I don't do it. I only do it during high holidays. But at the same time, it's just like, you know what I mean? You can't expect things to come to your door. Like, I wish I knew her name for sure. I think it's Chrissy. She used to have pink hair. She's got her boobs done. But I know that's a stupid thing to say, but if you follow her, you know exactly who I'm talking about. She went viral because she was dancing outside of her parents' house, and it looks like the Cullens from Twilight's house. So that's the only reason I don't know, just her energy about her. And it's just, she's so relatable because it's like, she unfortunately lost her sister, and I unfortunately lost Shane. So it's like, I feel like that empathy towards her. I wish I could just reach through the phone and give her a big hug, but it's just like, you know, that kind of realness, it's just like, it's hard to find. People always try to sell you crap. Below the sun god, we see the sundial. This means to tell the time can be taken in a wider sense of suggesting the ability to ornate oneself with the time and space, and has often been used as a symbol of capability and intelligence. You are capable of reaching your goals. You know, I definitely feel like that sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why? You know, and then I post one of my shorts, and then I'm like, oh, I went up for like freaking 12 followers. I'm like, whoa, freaking yippee, you know? That's freaking, for me, that's exciting, because I was stuck for so long, and I'm just like, what am I doing wrong here? Like, you know, I post daily, and then someone told me, was giving tips, and I'm like, oh, well, let's see what kind of tips, you know, use them, some work, some don't. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, so one day I was like, oh, I figured it out. Nope, flop. I'm just like, okay, you know. Well, maybe one day I'll film my face. I don't know. I just, ugh, I get criticized so much already. I don't need to be criticized even more. You know what I mean? But it's just like, as long as the message is getting across, that's what's the most important to me. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I feel like if you're able to like see someone, I feel like it's more relatable. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see. But especially when I'm coughing like crazy, there's no way in hell. You know? But yeah. I just feel like it's having confidence in yourself, because the universe has confidence in you. I feel like, you know, all of us are born with a purpose. Some are greater than others. You know what I mean? I feel like there are some people, like, not nurses, teachers, doctors, lawyers, you know, firefighters, policemen, their purpose is, you know, and not everybody uses it properly, you know, but to be in that kind of energy, in that kind of environment, you know, presidents, vice presidents, prime ministers, governors, you know, if you do it properly, you're doing it for the greater good. If you're doing it for money, then, you know, karma's a bee, you know, but it's just like, you can't, like, that's why I keep saying, you can't take this with you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, what a freaking blessing to sit there and get up every day and do what you want to do, and you love it, and it doesn't feel like anything. But, you know, until you get there, it's just like, we got to do what we got to do. We got to pay the man. We got to sit there and pay bills and adult, you know, but I feel like as long as you're determined and you're dedicated, you will get there. Don't let this 7 of coins energy where it's kind of like, you know, where it's just like, you know, I planted the seeds, I've done the work, what the heck, and just like patience. This is all about patience. Now the universe is taking over. You've done what you needed to do. Now let us do our side of things. You know? And the fact, that's what I loved about her. Maybe it's Kristen. She's got pink hair. Like, honestly, and the only reason I bring up her tatas is because that's all she talks about lately, which is totally cool, because I was grateful she did it, because I was thinking about that too. Not now, but, you know, maybe down the line. So it's something I always wanted to get done. And I was just like, I was grateful how truthful she was. So, you know, it's just relatable, you know. And the fact that we both went through a grief journey, you know, even makes her more relatable. So, you know, and I feel like she said, her hair today was so relatable. My roots look the same way, and it's just like her hair when she woke up. I'm like, I look like that too. I actually looked so crazy the other day. I was walking the garbage bin down. I only say this because of the way her hair looked. I walked the garbage or the recycling bin down to the road for them to pick up, and neighbors were waiting outside to go to school. And she's like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Hi." She's like, "I'm going to school." I'm like, I hope you have a great day." And I looked in the mirror when I came in. I'm like, "Oh my god!" All those kids on the bus and looked at me and like, "What the hell was that?" My hair was just like, oh my word, like I got electrocuted. I braid my hair when I go to sleep, but it's just like, oh my word, I just like fell out of bed. I was like, gotta go take that out before it's too late, and they miss. They drive by and I don't get my shit picked up. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I just looked in the mirror. I'm like, wow, I just scared the crud out of like 20 kids. Oh man, but it was a sweet moment, you know. I'm going to school. I'm like, oh, I hope you have a great day, you know. She's a little sweetie. But it's just like, you know what I mean? I feel like this is just a card of patience and believing in yourself, and, you know, anything that you feel like you could be celebrating and be grateful for, definitely do so. Like, you know, when you show appreciation when things are perfectly imperfect, you'll be that much more grateful when they come in. Ugh, just had another coffee fit. Good gravy. And I'm so exhausted from seizing a coffee. Ugh, good gravy. But that's what I'm saying. Even when you're not, like, you know, when you're perfectly imperfect and you still sit there and take time to post because, you know, your audience, you know, looks forward to it. Let's be honest. Some days you're the one thing that puts a smile on their face. So it's like, you know, what you're determined at, what you're dedicated at, what you sit there and put your energy into will manifest and will happen. And there are going to be naysayers. Oh, it didn't happen this year. It's never going to happen. Not everything, you know, that's why I love Judge Judy. If you didn't make it in your 20s, you'll make it in your 30s. If you didn't make it in your 30s, you'll do not give up. That's the thing. You know, Grandma Moses became a world-renowned painter at 80. What about if she would have given up? The world wouldn't know her art. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's never too late, you know? So sit there and learn what you need to learn to put whatever beauty and light that you want to put out into the universe. Definitely put it out there. You know, don't let anyone tell you different. Don't sit there and judge your life because everyone else looks different. That's what was meant to be in their life in that moment. All salute to them. You don't wish anyone evil. Wish them well. You know, may they get 10,000 more. You know, yours will come too. Eventually, that time will come for you too. If don't put so much energy into the shadow side of things. You know. How can I sit there and make those things happen for me? You can't sit there at home in a corner and expect things to happen, you know? I feel like Kirsten's one of the biggest people that say that. She loves brands. She reached out to them, and now they work with her. She just came back from, I don't know, not sure what the trip was for, but in the whole hotel room was full of that brand, you know, everywhere. And I'm like, look at you. You know, if you didn't keep posting, if you didn't keep trying, she never would have lived that moment. That's what I'm saying. You want to make something happen? Reach out to people, reach out to PR, reach out to sales, make it happen. You know, put the film out. You get one video. I don't know how many times my videos would get 1 or 0. Like, you know, I still get 1 and 0s on mine. You know, but there are days where I get like 12,000. So keep doing it. You know, those older videos are still circulating. People will come back to them, and I've filmed like videos from last summer, and people are sitting there and you know, new followers. They're like, "Oh, I really like that," and they click on it. You know, they're like, "Why is this showing up on my feed?" And it's from last year. I'm like, I don't know. That's how the For You page works. So I'm not sure what rabbit hole you went down. You know, so thank you for watching. You know what I mean? But it's just like, sit there, keep posting. You will get deterred, but it's just like, if you love what you're doing, it will translate. Honestly, it will translate. Just keep going. Determination and dedication, like they said. You know, if you have it, you'll do it. If you are not patient and determined, then unfortunately you'll never know what you could have been capable of. So I hope you guys enjoyed these daily tarot cards for Monday, May 22nd, 2023. May the universe bless you good. We'll see you for the next daily tarot card.